You gonna make me nervous?
Yeah.
Don't make me nervous.
I'm not.
Ask me nice things
So,
that are easy.
I'm going to say your real name.
But don't try to say my name, real name, because you know butcher.
Kashana Huddleston.
It's Kashana
Kashana
Huddleston.
Huddleston. See, I was right.
You know, it's that New Orleans twang that doesn't make it sound right.
Kashana.
It's called Shun.
Croshana?
Shun. It's called Shun.
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 What's that? Kroshan.
Who the fuck is that?
Oh, it's Shunda. So look.
No.
I thought it was Kashana.
No. Look at me.
Kashanda.
Pay attention.
Go ahead.
Are you looking?
Yeah.
Kashana.
Kashana. Oh, Kashana. I got you. As you guys can see, that we trying to get the names straight.
We're not trying to get anything straight. My name is Kashana Huddleston.
So look.
Most notably, Shun.
These hard names. I tell you, boy, these black parents' names about kids hard names,
Well,
man.
let's talk about how that
Jeez.
happened and why that's the case.
Oh my goodness. So let me do the introduction first
Okay.
before I get into it. Jeez, because these hard names, I can't pronounce them already.
It's not that difficult.
Jeez. So
Okay.
before we get started, guys, I'd like to welcome you guys to the Culturally Distinct Podcast. Your boy DJ KO. I'm glad you guys tuned into the show. As you can see, we're having some technical difficulties when it comes down to names and things, but it's okay. It's all gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? It's Easter coming up, and we got a couple of more holidays that's coming up. When this comes out, we're gonna be beyond Easter. But first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, telling a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Much love to that. Shout out to my sponsor, 605 Adult Beverages. Man, it's almost springtime. It's time for those margaritas. It's time for those daiquiris. It's time for that infusion. And y'all know what I'm talking about. A little cannabis mixed with your little alcoholic beverage at the same time looking sexy. Y'all know what it is.
Oh, wow.
At Drink ALP6. That's where you can find those guys. Also, give a big shout out to my corporate, not sponsored, but my corporate partnership over there with Red Coral Universe. Much love to you guys, man. Making culturally distinct, not just domestic, but also international. So today, guys, look. We have a special guest, but before we get into it, I want to acknowledge something. Y'all see this shirt? The Harlem Festival 1969. So this is for my older individuals, not the young babies, but before there was an Essence Fest, before there was a One Fest like they have in Atlanta, before they had the Bayou Classics and all these big old festivals, blacks couldn't have festivals because it was prohibited. So at the same time, they had Woodstock, in California, which is 1969, they had a big festival in New York, in Harlem, and they had all the big names: Aretha Franklin, James Brown, the Commodores, OJs, all these big names there, and it was unheard of, unannounced, and it was one of the biggest festivals in Harlem, New York, and it was unheard of, unshun of. Now you got festivals all over the place, but shout out to Harlem Festival 1969. I had to give a shout out for that. You know I got to do a history lesson for my people. You dig?
Yeah, we love that.
You feel me? So now I got to introduce my guest. As y'all could see earlier, you know, she was getting on me, you know, for her name. You know what? I have a hard time with pronouncing names.
Okay.
Because, you know.
Why is that? Yeah.
Because we have so many syllables and it means so many
Do you
things.
know why, since you like to do history lessons?
Well, honestly, you want me to answer that?
Sure, I would love to.
Well, it depends where you're from.
You know where I'm
If if you're from the African origin,
Oh.
right? The diaspora.
Diaspora.
The diaspora.
That's what we're talking about. Okay.
You know, the names mean so much. That's why they have so many syllables. Now, when it comes to African American with these Shikas and Mikas and Shundas and Kundas, I don't know. So anyway,
I think it's relative.
it is.
It's relative.
It is. So look, my guest for today is Dr.
Kashana Huddleston.
I was gonna say it.
That's all right. I got you.
Kashana
Never mind.
Huddleston. Also, Dr. Shun.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Shun, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here.
That's
Thanks for having
awesome,
me.
Man. Oh, look, I was telling Dr. Shun earlier that I used to see you out in these streets in Houston. Now she's just a
That
doctor.
is not true. I am not in the streets, nor am I for the streets. This man has never seen me before today.
So I love breaking the ice, you know, having a good laugh, you know what I'm saying? So Dr. Shun, before we get started, I want you to let the people know exactly where you're from.
I am from the great state of Mississippi, born and raised in Tupelo. I left at 18, went to the best school in the whole wide world, Grambling State University. And then from there, received my master's degree from Texas Southern.
Okay.
PhD from University of Houston, and then I trained at Vanderbilt and at Baylor College of Medicine. And so now here I am here.
Okay, welcome to the show. Educated sister, I tell you, all the way from Mississippi. I have some theories about Mississippi, but I'm not going to say that because I lived there, and it was actually the worst experience of my life. But
really,
we're not going to talk about that on this podcast. It was.
Okay.
I cried every day, like literally.
Oh,
like
wow.
literally cried.
That must have been like a personal.
Nah, it was just the experience, and it was just like the mindset. What we're going to talk about today, the mindset of the people. So actually, it makes sense.
Okay.
But anyway, so you're a psychologist.
I am.
So for people out there, you've been hearing people give advice, and they call themselves therapists or they call themselves life coaches. They call themselves psychologists and psychiatrists. So could you break it down, the difference between the two?
Sure. A psychiatrist has a medical degree, and they typically, once they have completed medical school and residency, they typically go work for themselves, etc., and prescribe medications. Some here and there will do therapy. Then there are psychologists like myself.
Okay.
We have a PhD trained scientist practitioner model. Went on, did our internship / residencies and postdocs, and go take the test and get licensed, and then we out in the world. And then there are master level therapists. Those can be social workers. Those can be LPCs, licensed professional counselors. Those can be LMFTs, licensed marriage and family therapists. And those can also be licensed psychological associates, which are LPAs.
Okay.
And then after that, everyone else are sort of getting certifications saying that they're life coaches, or sort of coin that term for themselves so that they can go out and give people advice.
Right. Yeah, especially nowadays, everybody got a mic.
I know. Everyone has something to say.
And I'm like, yo, y'all giving this advice, and it's horrible. It's not good advice at all because people are not doing the work.
Right.
But let me ask you this. What made you get into that field? Because there's a lot of things, especially being from Mississippi.
Right.
There's so many things you can do. Nurse, especially in the southern region. And I don't want to say this, because most people in Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama are nurses. And then as they get older, they become practitioners, right? Which is nothing wrong, which is a good career, either a nurse or a lawyer. Why a doctor of psychology?
Oh, wow. My story is interesting. Well, my grandparents had secondary educations. My parents, high school. So didn't really have a lot of guidance in terms of sort of what to do. But my favorite cousin wanted to be a criminal attorney.
Okay.
And because she wanted to be one, I wanted to be one. So I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I was around about 7. Go school, did all the things. I was on a debate team, made really good grades, get to Grambling, started some political science classes, and I hated it. I was like, oh my God, I can't. This is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So then what I did was my psychology courses. And a lot of it resonated because it sort of better helped me understand my background, things about being in Mississippi, et cetera. I was a very anxious kid. Didn't really understand what that was. It made sense once I started taking those psychology courses. My grandfather had Alzheimer's disease, and he was the patriarch of the family, and that sort of broke down the family dynamic in a lot of ways. And that didn't make sense to me then, but in my psychology courses and training, it obviously has. Being raised in Mississippi, I mean, if you get out of there, you can make it anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. That is real. You ain't lying about that.
There's a lot of grit involved in that, and things like that helped me get through the process of going to school and getting all this education. But just psychology made sense. And then I had professors along the way that were wonderful. My bachelor's degree, I had this one professor that told me I was academically nasty because he said I was so smart.
Okay.
And he was very encouraging. And then I had another professor who was like, you need to go to TSU and get your master's degree. I was like, okay. So I just did it. I only applied to one school, and that was Grambling, because my mom wanted to go to Grambling, but she got pregnant with me, and so she couldn't go. So I went. And then I did my master's degree because of my professor, and then my PhD, it only made sense because I was like, I can't stop. I should just continue.
Right.
So here I am, so out here working with lots of people of color, Black people particularly. I want to help. And my specialty is in behavioral medicine. So I work with people who have like complex psychological and physical health issues.
Okay.
So,
Okay. So let me get into it. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
shout out first of all. You know, being educated. HBCU. I'm going to celebrate the HBCU outside of, I know, the clash between the two, but we're going to do that during
he
the
unfortunately
season.
went to Southern.
Hey, guys, look, y'all know what
I
it
think
is.
that school closed.
Don't go in her DM and harass her, right? I got this.
Be nice to me.
I got this. So now, as being a psychologist,
Psychologist.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of things I want to ask. Now, I know when I was in school, I was attracted to human behavior, right? And how people react to certain things. I used it for manipulation because I was a minor in psychology. But manipulation, not in a bad way. Manipulation, you ever read the book, The 48 Laws of Power? Kind of like that.
Okay.
So kind of make situations how I want them to turn
It
out.
worked out for you.
But I didn't want to get into the educational side of it. I just wanted to get into the principle of certain things. Is that the root of you going into the profession, or like what is the root of you going into that? Because it's something that pulls us outside of people telling you, okay, well, I think you should go to school, and I think you should be this, that, and other. What pulled you towards that?
Yeah, it was definitely about human behavior and just bringing about understanding that I couldn't get anywhere else.
Okay.
And so I got it through the books that I read. I got it through the research studies that I was exposed to. I got it through the conversations that I had in classes and the professors. So just wanting to better understand people.
Okay.
And how people end up being the way that they are, or why things happen the way that they happen. That was intriguing to me. And it was like a hunger that I had in wanting to gain this information.
How does a psychologist, how do they live?
What do you mean?
Like
Not
that was a weird question.
Like we're like aliens and we live on a different planet.
Nah, it's like you guys see things different.
We do.
You see it from a behavior standpoint.
We do.
Right? So if a person is acting out or seeking for attention or shadowed off or, certain signs you see, how can you turn that off?
It's hard. I think it's a blessing and a curse. I literally was just having this conversation with someone. So I think it's good in a space where we can understand the complexity of what it means to be a human, right? The good, the bad, the indifferent. And within that, we can find grace and help people in ways that other professions may not be able to. And of note, only 4% of psychologists are Black in America.
Wow.
So, and I think it's also important, particularly Black psychologists, is being able to be of service to other Black people.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what's so intriguing about it for me and in the work that I do. But then in my personal life, sometimes it's kind of like, hold on, wait, what'd she say? Okay. Does this person have this, dating, doing things like that? You can kind of pick people apart.
I'm gonna get into that.
Please don't. And it can kind of, it can get in a space where you can feel like you're picking people apart because you have this like sixth sense,
right?
To understand and to see things and like listen to people, watch their behavior, etc. So it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Okay, that was a good answer. I'm gonna come back to that dating question.
Lord.
You already know that, so I'm gonna leave that for later on.
I told you I had.
So I want to get into the mindset, right? Since you said you like helping us out. When I say us, Blacks, mindset. I want your opinion on the mindset of our community and our generation. We're part of. Well, are you millennial or are you Generation Z?
I am Generation Z.
I'm sorry.
No, X. I'm X.
Okay.
I'm X.
So you're Gen X. Okay.
I'm Gen X.
So the mindset that we have as a community. What's your opinion on our mindset?
Am I talking about Gen X?
I'm talking about Gen X and millennials.
I think it ranges.
Okay, break them both down. So for so for Gen X, that's correct.
That is
1969.
No.
To 1980.
Yes.
To 1980, yes. And millennials are 1981 to 1992, I think. Gen X is from 1965 to 1980. Millennials are from 1981 to 1996.
Okay.
So I was right.
Okay, yeah, you were yeah. You were
So
definitely.
so I want to ask. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Because you said it's easier. Now, what if easier was always how it's supposed to be? We just went through a struggle because of slavery.
I think we're kind of. I would argue we're still far removed from slavery as Generation X. I would argue.
Well, I'm saying, all right. So what I mean by that, I'm gonna break it down. What I mean by that, I mean by, all right. For instance, so slavery was an act that took place, but the people that came along maybe 40 years later, they still was affected by it, right? Because they didn't have means and access to certain things, and they didn't have money, they didn't have land, they didn't have knowledge, they didn't have none of this stuff because that was a byproduct of slavery, right? So now these other cultures had easy ways of doing things, right? Now we're getting into, because we're only what 4 generations removed from
I would say
slavery,
so, 4
right?
generations,
So
yeah.
that's still kind of early. So these other now we're getting to situations where now we're starting to see that, but my opinion is I don't think we're taking advantage of it. We're just letting it flow right by us, and it's going to another culture because the Mexican taking over. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but they are, because the thing is we have so many opportunities that we're just,
Why do you think they're taking over? What do you mean by that?
because they're willing to do the hard work or the work with the labor with their hands versus us. And nothing's wrong with YouTubers, podcasters, and these digital people that make money, but how long will that last? You feel what I'm saying? Because the digital age is always changing every day, right? But welders, construction workers,
But I think it's different
plumbers.
though. I think their reasons are different.
Okay.
Right?
Break it down.
Like they, a lot of them, not all of them, but some who come here, undocumented, trying to, seek asylum, trying to sort of get away from some bad or worse situation than what would be here in the United States. They're willing to do the things and fight for what they want in a different way versus us. We were made to do things. We were enslaved, right? So as we've transitioned over the years and the 4 generations, as you mentioned, and we're still quite behind. I will argue that,
very.
right?
Yeah.
And that will always probably remain the case in some capacity in what we do. So I just think it's just for different reasons of how Black people sort of handle things and manage what's available for us now versus other cultures or races.
Well, that's why I asked you about mindset, because I
Yeah.
think it's a mindset in terms of economics,
Yeah, for sure.
in terms of socioeconomics, in terms of understanding your community, even community just in general. Back in the day, we had neighborhoods,
No, really, we did.
right? We policed our own neighborhoods, right? The dude, the uncle, whatever was the police officer. He knew your mama and your grandmother. You got a line. The teacher knew your parents. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We had a community. We don't have that no more. And the ones and I'm guilty too. The ones that make a little money and get an opportunity to leave, you never go back because you don't want to experience that no more. But it was like, what do we do? Right? In terms of mindset. But
Right.
yeah. So let me ask you the next question,
All right.
because I could get on that all day,
Okay.
Lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
As a so if someone calls you a therapist, is that offensive?
No.
Okay. So if I say as a therapist.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So lifestyle as a therapist. How can you move? Like how do you move?
In what capacity?
Like just every day. Like can you react or overreact even if you get emotional?
Yes, I'm still human.
Okay. Why?
Okay.
Because
So,
look. Okay.
I'm still, I'm certainly not perfect.
Because
I'm not. I'm still very much so a human. I'm very much so a woman, particularly a Black woman who had her life experiences, etc.
Yes.
So I think that, while to your point, which I think what I hear you saying is like, okay, you're this psychologist, therapist person. You're supposed to have all the skill set, and you're supposed to be handling and navigating life a certain kind of way. I hear you.
Yes.
And I think that's the misnomer that we all have. But while yes, I may be more aware of myself and sort of what's happening, I still can respond to things sometimes in not the most gracious educational way.
Okay. I asked that because all my friends that's therapists, even doctors, I never seen them get emotional.
Really?
Never. If they get emotional, they're always right. Like in terms of they always have the right answer. And I'm like,
I can see that.
What ticks you? Like, what makes you tick? Especially, you know, when you wake up in the morning, them kids on your nerves, and people calling you. You got deadlines.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, does that mess with you guys' mind a little, or y'all everyday living?
Not me. I mean, it can, right? So when I was at Vanderbilt, I trained at the VA there, and I've done a lot of my training at the Houston VA before I went out on my own and did private practice. And so, you know, working with veterans and hearing a lot of their stories, and even just the work that I do today, you hear a lot of different things of just suffering, right?
Right.
And I'm thankful for I have this switch, I think, in my head that, like, I know how to turn on, turn off. Because outside of me being a psychologist / therapist, like, I'm a mom and I'm a friend and I'm a daughter and I'm a sister.
Right.
And those are important roles also to me.
That's awesome.
So I have to be mindful.
You media trained, this girl. She is media trained. Oh, she got the right answers for everything. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna give you a shout out for that. That's good. Shout out for being media trained.
I got shout out for that.
So Doc, let me ask you this, Doc. I want your outtake on this. Right now, you know, we're going through an election, and people normally have these different ways of thinking when it comes to, you know, their party, or you know, their president, or their, you know, their ideals or whatever. What's your outtake on not the voting part of it, but what you think about how can people turn it on and off like that? Like, say for instance, if I was a white guy, right?
Okay.
But me and you was best friends, but say I voted Republican, you voted Democrat, but now I'm like super like detached from you. Like, I don't want to talk to you because of that. Like, what is that? And how do you resolve it?
Oh, God.
If it can be resolved.
That is so interesting. I don't even. They signed up.
Yeah, because I just wondered from a psychological standpoint.
It's like a brainwashing situation.
Is that possible?
Yeah, it's historical.
Really? Brainwashing is?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought brainwashing was like when you do the TikTok.
That's hypnotizing.
Hypnotizing. Oh, I got you.
I have to help
That's
you.
the difference.
Okay, yeah.
Help me out, girl. Help me out my vocabulary, man. Come on, man.
I got you. That's Southern education.
Don't do that. See, we're shooting shots already. See, she's shooting shots.
That's Southern education.
So let me ask you this: how do you make a business out of being a psychologist?
Oh, easy. That's easy. I mean, I think particularly being a black woman psychologist helps because we're so rare, as I talked about earlier. So I think black people want a safe place to go. Research consistently shows that black people seeing black therapists, they have far better outcomes than seeing a different race.
Really?
Yes, because we understand each other. There are things that we can say to each other. There's looks that we can give. There's body language that we share, that we understand, and we're real clear about.
So it's like an unspoken word.
It is.
Oh, I didn't see. So, all right. So it's funny. I had a therapist, and he's a guy, black guy.
Okay.
And that's rare because every time I try to get into therapy, I want somebody that look like me.
Of course.
But it's rare. It's super rare. I think it's like you named the percentage of 4% of
black psychologists. Yeah.
And men is like,
oh, it's probably even lower. For
way
sure.
lower
Just
than
even psychologists or therapists in general. Like,
right.
People wanting like, oh, I want to see a black man therapist. That's hard to find.
I can agree with what you said because when we have our sessions, we can say certain things and they mean a certain thing.
Yeah.
So as a black man, how does a black man operate in a world where he's seeking help, but it's not too many people that look like him in that field? What you think there? What's your opinion on that?
Because it's not a lot of us. Well, hopefully he will do his due diligence in trying to find a therapist. I mean, even if that person is not a black therapist, just trying to go, I think is still meaningful.
No.
I think you can still try to get something out of it.
You think so?
You can try. I think it's worth a try. If whatever is happening in your life and it's distressful and you're having some emotional dysregulation or a hard time, you don't have anybody to talk to. Sometimes therapy isn't about like, oh, you need to go do X, Y, and Z. Sometimes it's about someone listening to you And I think a lot of people have the capacity to do
Right.
that regardless of what the race or gender could be.
Are you a good listener outside of work?
Of course I am.
Are you?
I would like to think so.
Okay, I'm just asking. I'm just asking because you know where I'm going next now. You know, since you was talking
I don't
noise
know,
about
you keep
something.
giving me these hints. Okay, okay.
So
What is it?
I want to start talking about dating now.
Oh, okay.
The dating side. So you're dating, married, check the other box, other or what? No answer. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
That's a smart answer. I got that. Silence is an answer.
It is an answer.
So I want to ask you this: in dating, right? What is your definition of dating?
What is my definition of
successfully dating?
Of successfully dating? I think if they're...
I'm talking about you now. You talking about?
we're talking about, okay.
Oh, okay, I got it.
I know we're talking about me. Okay, so we're talking about me.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Your opinion.
In my opine. I would say successfully dating me means that we've had a conversation. Okay, there's been some... because I like to have understanding and to talk things through, right?
Okay.
So we've had a conversation. Said person has... We've discussed this.
Right.
And that person not only has sort of, we've established that we're dating, but they obviously show up like that. They're consistent. They are communicative. They are respectful.
Okay.
They are honest.
Okay.
People, a person, whatever. What else? I mean, I would say those are the major things. They give reassurance. I feel safe.
Okay.
I need to feel safe.
Security. Okay.
Security is yeah, that's important to me. Those things exist, so that helps establish.
What about emotional intelligence? Is that important?
That is important.
Okay.
I think maturity and emotional intelligence go hand in hand.
Okay. Think so? So, question for you: would you date you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I ask people that because, especially in your field, because I heard one thing. This is some things I heard, how the person that looks like they got it all together, sometimes behind closed doors, they don't. But they can keep it together because that's their business, that's their job. They know how to.
The facade.
Yeah, they know how to. I guess therapize. What's the word I'm looking for? They know how to heal people or help people heal, but they can't heal themselves. It's kind of like Hitch. Remember Hitch?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, he could help everybody else out, but he couldn't help himself out. Yeah, so you would date you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what would be? And this is not a dating thing. I'm just trying to get to
I understand.
All right. So if a person hasn't done the work, right, and the person has a good heart, good intention, has all the boxes checked, but they haven't done the work, right? Big ego. Big ego. Would you consider that as a potential mate, partner, or even not just that, over time? Say if it's 10 years, 5 years, 10 years, y'all dating, and then the ego takes place.
Typically, it won't be 5-10 years that the ego takes place. Typically, it's in the beginning. I will argue maybe the first 6 months or so. But would I consider dating that person? It depends on what that ego looked like how it played out in the relationship and how it was a problem or not. Because some ego I think is necessary.
Okay.
Right? But when you have these toxic, fragile dynamics, that could be problematic. So, I would want to see what that looked like. And once I start to see that, okay, this is not going to work, so I'm going to say no. And then I'll go about my business.
Because ego is a big thing, especially in your world. I just found that out a couple of months ago, that my ego is very, well, let me say this. My ego was trying to take over who I was until I understood what I was doing.
Yeah.
But to a lot of people, they don't even know what ego is. Could you kind of break down not the science of ego, but in the layman's terms, what is ego?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Like layman's terms, I don't even know if I know to break it down layman terms.
Like in a black terms, what is ego?
Oh, he said a black term. I mean,
Because Beyonce said this.
yeah. Okay.
It's too big. It's too wide.
Yeah.
It's too strong.
There you go. That's the definition.
It won't fit.
It won't fit. You got a big ego.
Yeah.
I mean, it's who you think you are, who you think you are not. The way in which you see yourself relative to other people. I think a function of it is how you were raised and sort of how that was understood within your rearing and how that was nourished or not.
Right.
What has humbled you or not. So I think all those things are encompassing of an ego that can be good or bad.
So that's what I'm saying. See, the thing is, it's so hard, and it's like, and just by me sitting here talking to you, I'm not gonna say it's complicated, but you know exactly.
My friends say I give politician answers.
Yeah, you do. You media trained, and you know how
really
to,
not.
like. Well, when I say media trained, you know when to start and stop, right? You know just enough to say. You know when to pause at the right time. That's what they teach in media.
I've never done media, whatever
Really?
trained ever in my life.
Well, I think it's the same thing. Psychology. I think it's like hand in hand in terms of talking to somebody. How does a person like I don't know, and I don't know if I'm asking for myself. I may be, but somebody will be watching. But how does a person like if they're on a job, right, or just in their social life, and they want to become the best version of themselves? How do they do that if they don't know how to do that?
I think it's important for you to be able to surround yourself with people who can help identify those things with you.
But how can you pick that though? You see what I'm saying? It's
Pay
like
attention, self-awareness. I mean, I'm of the mind. I like to surround myself, but also I also understand it's a function of the privilege of me being educated,
Right.
And sort of what that has meant, and me being around people who are also in the same stature and status as
Correct.
me. Like, I get it, and to your point, I don't think it's easy to really like have this sort of understanding. Like, nobody around me doing nothing. What am I doing? Or I should have people around me that are doing better than me that I can bounce ideas off of, that can mentor me or guide me in the right direction. Like, I don't think that that's an easy thing to really understand all the time.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, we all will
Right.
be doing it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? The ones that want to be better, and especially in their older ages,
Right.
they want to be a better person, but they don't know
Also, how
what
to
they
do it.
have, and they've been living a toxic life, been in a toxic relationship, having toxic friends, toxic parents,
Right.
all these people around them, and
Right.
that's their norm,
Right.
right? So it's like okay, well, I want to switch out. I want to leave Mississippi, and I'm 30 years old, and I'm come to Houston,
Right.
and I don't know what I'm doing, but I just,
Right.
you see what I'm saying? So
No, I get it. I mean, I grew up just knowing that it was just something better. So a lot of the women in my family had babies really early.
Okay.
You know, working factory jobs, you know, just doing like whatever they could to survive. And I didn't want to just survive. You know, I just wanted something bigger and better and more for myself. So I was like, I got to get out of here. Because if I don't leave, I'm going to be just like everybody else walking
Yes.
around here.
Yes.
So I understood that very, very early.
You believe in God?
Of course.
You do?
Absolutely.
You believe in spirituality?
Yes.
So do you believe that the spirit could lead you to a place to where it's kind of like destiny? Like you're as destined for a certain thing?
I
But-
can see that.
Now, do you also believe that someone's destiny might be working a factory? Not saying a factory job is not
Right.
bad.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing's wrong with that. But some people's destiny may be that.
Possibly. I mean,
Would you go back to Mississippi?
to do what?
Just
To live?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
What if so look, it's like the story about Jesus, right? I'm not saying this is, I'm just giving an
I
example.
hear you. I hear you.
Jesus had to leave.
He
He
had to
left when he was a
leave.
baby,
You did.
right? And then when he got of age, he went back. They didn't accept him, but it was his mission. That was his purpose. Maybe it's your purpose to go back to Mississippi and help those people out.
I'm gonna say no.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I will go visit. I visit often. Love my family.
I
They're
got
doing
you.
really well, but yeah, no.
I got you.
I think I got what I needed from Mississippi, but Mississippi is always home. I feel
Shout out to
very
Mississippi.
grounded. I feel very normal when I'm there.
That makes sense.
I can talk the slang, all the things, laugh at crazy stuff. It feels good every time I'm home.
So let me ask you this: what makes you happy?
Oh, that'll make me happy. Let's see, my son,
Okay,
Gavin. He's 7. He's the best person in the whole world.
shout out Gavin.
Son Gavin for sure. Um, just safety makes me happy. Knowing that things are where they're supposed to be and right in my life. I feel that way now.
But what does that mean?
What does that mean?
You said things are right in your life.
Yeah, I dreamed of this. I'm where I always wanted to be.
Okay.
And that feels good.
So you feel you on path. You on
I'm
the right path.
exactly where I wanted to be.
God. That's awesome. Good. I
So
said
that
God.
makes me happy.
Good. God.
God is good. He is. I want to do it.
Oh, hallelujah.
So that being around people I care about makes me happy. That makes me very happy. Making money makes me happy.
Okay.
It does.
Everybody.
It
It makes everybody happy.
Yeah, change some things in your life.
Absolutely.
Traveling makes me happy.
Okay.
Makes me happy. Being in my home, minding my business makes me happy.
Not in these streets, huh?
Not at 50. You alluded to 50-15. That not me.
Not in these streets. Shout out to the streets.
Yeah. No.
So mentorship.
Oh yeah.
Mentorship. How does a therapist humble themselves to get mentored from equal individual, right? What is that? What does that look like?
I think it looks like a few things. I think it can look like us also having our own therapist. So therapists having a therapist, I think that that's important. I think that knowing that, so particularly in private practice, it can be isolating because you're just kind of like doing your own thing off somewhere. Meanwhile, other people are like in institutions and hospitals or academia and places like that. So having a mentor can help sort of be a sounding board, be a place where you can kind of talk about what's going on with you. I think that that's important. I have several mentors from ranges of ages.
So you do have mentors. That's good.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, if you want to grow, just in general, personally or professionally, I think mentors are important to have too.
Yeah,
so,
they are.
Yeah.
I do have mentors, but I don't call them mentors.
What you call them?
I just call them friends.
Okay.
People that I
Do
confide.
Do they know that they are your mentor?
No.
Why not?
Well, I don't think a title is needed. I think
Is it understanding?
It is.
Okay. That's
If
good.
I call you for information or I need some help with this, make a decision, and I call in you, I confide in you, I'm like, okay, yeah.
Okay.
But as far as titles, I don't like titles.
You don't like titles.
I'm
Okay.
stubborn. I'm very stubborn.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't like, like even though I had a position, I don't want you to call me that. Call me my name.
Adam.
Call me Adam.
Got it.
Right? Don't
No.
call me what my title is, because now you're looking at me for my title, and now you want to serve me for that. Even if I was there or there. You understand what I'm saying? Call me by my name.
But I
Right?
think being in Houston is like that though.
I think that's in general, because the thing is, especially if you have like access and a lot of money, and people know who you are or they know of you, of course they're gonna praise you. But if you are just a normal citizen, taxpayer,
Yeah.
they're gonna pass
People
by
treat
you.
you differently.
You understand? So, and I say that because I've been on, in both realms, but it's like, I don't, and that's me learning. The ego. At first, the ego, I was like, oh yeah, what? Tell me more. Tell me more.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
let me ask you this. This might be a heavy question. It might be not be too heavy, but it might be heavy.
Okay.
Who pours into you?
Ooh, who pours into me? Yikes. Let's see. I think it's around my parents.
Okay.
It's good that they, in a lot of ways, I mean, as I mentioned before, they're high school education, but they pour it to me not on that space, but like I'm always grounded in who I am with them. Like I never forget that because of who they are to me, how they are to me, the things that we talk about, and the ways that they treat me. I'm definitely grounded in it. So them, I have wonderful friends. I have great friends.
That's awesome. A friend? Yeah.
I have amazing.
So you have a
friends.
circle.
I have amazing friends.
Okay.
I've been really blessed, seriously, to have. I have my best friend since I was 9 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
From Mississippi?
From Mississippi. She lives in Austin.
Wow. Okay. That's dope.
So I have great people in that space. Unfortunately, during COVID, I stopped going to church, but I still, I pray, I read my Bible. I watch church on TV, but I have not gone back since
Right.
COVID. But I think that's a source of pouring into me as well.
Okay.
I have my own therapist. That's important. She pours into me.
Yeah.
Black therapist. Out of Austin. She's great. Who else? My son, in his own little way, he does too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you want to pour into you?
Who would I want? Aside from what I just mentioned.
Yeah, because them are the support systems, right? But sometimes we have a list like, you know what, I wouldn't mind having this conversation with such and such, because I want to know their mindset, or how did they get to a certain place, or when they got this, how did they manage this, and the people around. You know what I'm saying? It's certain
So
things.
you suggesting like a partner, like a partner
like,
is what you're suggesting?
yeah, like someone that you.
Of course, that would be great. Of course, if that person can add value to my life in that way. Absolutely,
Okay.
that would be great.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
What are you talking about?
A man.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm just.
Yeah, I
okay.
mean,
I was, I was just saying because
I
it's.
got politician answers.
I see, because you like, who, what,
you
how,
talking
when, how,
A
well.
puppy? I don't know.
That's good. That's good.
I mean, yeah, it'd be great. I mean,
Because-
I'm not the woman that says, "Oh, I don't need a man," because I don't think that way.
But no, I think I think
But-
you're on the other side of it though, because
What?
me personally,
I hate when people say "me personally." It's an oxymoron.
Well, Adam.
Yeah, go with that.
All right, my third person, the ego side.
Okay.
All right, so I think my camera went out. So look, don't worry, we got this one.
I know.
I think that it's I'm not gonna say you're a tough cookie. You're calculated, and you have strategy on how you do things. You're very strategic, and this is about me just watching you, and this is a good thing. But most men are not strategic in that way unless they're like a pimp or something. But for real though, and now being strategic like that means it's always calculated. It's a calculated move, calculated response, calculated action, calculated thought. But what is the natural thing? See what I'm saying? I want to know the natural, because it's like if you have the right answers, you look the right way, you got your makeup on right, and you walk the right way, you say the right thing, and you're just ladylike and classy. And
Why can't I be that?
you could.
Right.
But when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you be like, man, get out of my face.
I might. But I think that also speaks to, I am a human.
Like being strategic. Like, do you think being strategic is a blessing? We did just say this earlier, blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
And you
I
know you're
wouldn't use
strategic too.
I would not use strategic.
Okay.
What I will say though, is that I think through what I'm saying. I think through what I'm doing and
Okay.
how I'm doing things, right? Because I need to be okay with that.
Okay.
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 And so, as I navigate the spaces, okay, of course I'm thinking. Of course I'm zoned in. I'm paying attention. I'm listening. I see what you do. I see what you don't do. I hear what you say. I hear what you don't say. And so that determines how I respond.
I hear what you don't say.
Or not.
So, fear.
Okay.
Is being out of control a fear for you? When I say out of control, I mean.
Well, I do like control. That's important to me.
Oh, so Adam is a therapist today. So, are you a Gemini?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, you're Scorpio. Okay. You October? October. Yeah. Are you afraid to be out of control?
It's not that I'm afraid to be out of control. I don't welcome the uneasiness of what being out of control may mean and look like.
But if it's unknown, how would you know what it looks like?
I know I wouldn't like it. I know it would be uncomfortable. I know it would sort of knock me off of my straight and narrow of what I've developed and sort of abided to. I know it would do that.
Okay.
But I think I'm really good at adjusting.
That's honest.
Yeah, I think I'm good at adjusting, recalibrating.
Okay.
I'm fantastic at problem solving and figuring things out.
Okay.
And so I always lean into that. When I don't know what to do, I do nothing, and it always works out for me.
That makes sense. That's fair.
So
That's
what I
fair.
do.
That's fair. So, last question of the evening, because I know you got to go, and you have an event to get to.
I do.
For little black girls, for you to be a mentor, Are you open and receptive to that outside of your busy schedule?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
Good. Awesome. So, little black girls, we gonna set up a conference with Doc.
I get a whole conference. Oh my God, I'm
a
so
whole
excited.
conference, right?
I'm excited.
And she got to mentor 30 black girls.
Okay, no problem.
So,
You got it.
Anyway, I got to get out of here because I have a lot of questions, but I can't ask them right now. So, we don't have enough time for me to ask the questions I want to ask. So Doc,
Yes.
so tell the people how can they find you if they need any therapy, if they need anybody to talk to, any psychotherapists, any mentor, what's it called, meditation, all this other stuff, Yeah.
Oh, I do mediation, not meditation. I'm
Okay.
assuming that's what he's talking about.
I'm
But
sorry.
my website is psych.psych.com. My office number is 832-776-5825. I have two great assistants, Chris and Tanika. You can tell either of them you saw me on this podcast. But yeah, reach out. We're here.
That's awesome.
Happy to help.
I gotta get out of here, guys. Much love to 605 Adult Beverages, man. We outside. Also, Red Core Universe. Appreciate you guys for the partnership. This is the Costly Distinct podcast. Doc, I thank you for coming up here. I know you're very busy. You're not going to see her outside, but if you do see her outside, make sure you give her a handshake, a hug, give her a gift card or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You take a gift card?
I mean,
You gonna take the
it
gift
depends
card?
on what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
What you mean?
I will say
you
no.
gonna go to Cheesecake? I'm messing with you.
Right.
I'm messing with you. Guys, look. This is the Costly Distinct DJ KO. One more time, what's the information?
www.newwaypsych.com, 832-776-5825. Dr. Huddleston, thank you guys.
All right, guys. I love you guys. Peace out.
Bye.